About 11 months ago, I am 28, found out that my GF, F24, was cheating on me. We'd been together for 4 years and lived together for almost two. I thought we had a great relationship. We got along well, regular weekly dates, traveled a lot together, and had tons of plans for our future together. We'd even talked about me proposing as soon as she got her finances in order. I found out she was sleeping with a guy who's friend with a best friend's boyfriend. I told her to kick rocks and that I never wanted to see her again. She went on and moved in with that best friend and her boyfriend. During that time, she never told her family that we broke up or no longer lived together. A few weeks after she moved out, she reached and told me that she was pregnant and that she is certain that it's mine because the times she cheated they used condoms. For context, my pop passes when I was a child and I have very little memories of him, and as a result my family struggles and I affected me for a long time. I told her, when the kid is born and is confirmed as mine, I'll take care of everything. Until then, leave me alone. A few weeks later, we met up and she swore of everything that the baby is mine and said I should help cover maternity/pregnancy stuffs. I told her, keep receipts of everything you spend of pregnancy/maternity stuffs. After the child is born, if it's mine, I'll cut you a check to cover all expenses. If it's not, then we'll part ways. She agreed. She then proceeded to get a midwife and a doula for herself, both pretty expensive. She decided on a home birth. Comes time, baby came early and there were complications. She was rushed to the hospital for emergency C-section and baby was kept on those wards where they keep newborn who can't survive alone. The day of birth, I went to see her and a nurse took me to see the baby. 2 weeks ago, she sent me receipts for everything and it's totaled over $40K and she asked for money to pay the doula and midwife. I told let's wait for DNA results. Well, turns out I'm not the father. I told her I'm sorry, but she's on her own. She cried and said she and the child are ruined if I don't step up and help them, and went on how we can have a successful relationship together and raise the kid, and how she matured and will be a good partner. I told her I have no interest raising someone else's child and to call on the real father. Well, the guy is broke and is cashier at the local store. Now everyone in her family is trying to convince me to at least pay off the $40K and before going our ways. I said no.
Comment 1, NTA. She made decisions based on her assumptions. So far she has shown she isn't interested in a real long-term relationship with you. She dug herself a hole and is now asking you to get her out of it. You are not responsible for her, nor her actions. Her family is TA for asking you. She is the one who caused the breakup. You were not living together when she incurred the debts, and they are for her pregnancy with another guy. If they are concerned, ask why they are not able to pay. Please do so publicly. Comment 2. For me, it's understandable to feel conflicted, but ultimately, you set clear boundaries from the start. You agreed to cover costs only if the child was confirmed to be yours, which was a fair stance given the circumstances. Even though it's a tough situation, especially with the high expenses and the emotional appeal from her, it's important to stay consistent with your initial agreement to avoid setting a precedent for future disputes. Comment 3. If she persists in this fallacy that you're the father, sue her. And maybe start with having a lawyer send her a letter summarizing the facts as you've related them here, along with the DNA test results and language that continued efforts to badger you for payment or harm your reputation with false claims that you're the father and/or have abandoned the child will be met with a legal response. Feel free to change the names and mail to all her family members too. I, 37M, was recently informed that I'm a father. My daughter is 16 years old, and the result of a tryst with an older woman when I was 20. This is not a brag, it's simply informative. It wasn't a random one-night stand, we weren't strangers, we had known each other for several months up until that point and continued talking for almost a year afterward. Just never told me. Also, it wasn't an affair. I don't know why she never told me. I met my daughter for the first time recently, and everything went well. We've been communicating almost daily via text. She's excited to get to know me, holds no resentment against me because she understands that I was never informed of her existence at all, and is excited to meet the paternal side of her extended family. All in all, everything went so much better than I was expecting. She's the spitting image of me, but we did a test just to be absolutely certain and the results proved that she is indeed my daughter. We'll call her M. So obviously, I announced this news to my family. My sister was the first one I told, because she has been my confidant since we were in high school and we don't keep anything from each other. But with M's blessing, I have also informed other family. My oldest niece, the daughter of my sister, is excited because now all of a sudden she has an older girl cousin. Very big deal for a 10-year-old. The problem is my sister-in-law, 22F. We'll call her S. I'm not a rich guy, but as a bachelor I do all right for myself. I have a tendency to spoil my nieces and nephews with candy and sometimes toys when I visit. Well, my youngest niece, the daughter of my brother and S, recently had a birthday party. A lot of the extended family was there, including my own grandparents. Closer to the end of the party, S made a comment about how I didn't even know that M existed for 16 years and it shouldn't be such a big deal that she becomes part of my life now, because I was fine without her for so long and vice versa. She said she just doesn't understand why I'm making it such a big deal. Well, despite the fact that I'm generally very slow to anger and always have been, I unloaded on her. I said some things that I shouldn't have, that I now regret, and left the party. S has been texting me all week about how terrible I am for what I said. My brother is on her side because it's his wife, but my sister is on my side because I was provoked. Our parents haven't been involved, but S has obviously told hers because they've texted me as well. Edit. I said that she was being a selfish witch and was too dense and blonde to understand why it's a big deal for me even if she doesn't think it is. Some of y'all are real hung up on the blonde part. Understand that this was said in anger and in the heat of the moment. I understand that it was too far. Important note, the comment made at the party was not the first comment. She'd been making passive-aggressive comments all last week, which I ignored. Comment 1. NTA. Finding out you have a child 16 years later is a huge deal. I can only imagine the emotions you have been going through. Sil is just upset that her Barbie isn't the center of attention anymore. Was she the one who brought this topic up, or had the conversation naturally gone in that direction? Was your family ignoring the birthday girl in favor of talking about your situation? I can see her being annoyed if no one is actually celebrating the birthday girl, who I assume is still very young, but what she said was uncalled for and shows how immature she is. Comment 2. Hey, it's understandable that you were upset, but it sounds like you might have gone a bit too far with your response. Your Sil's comments were insensitive, but calling her names and insulting her wasn't the best way to handle it. It's a big deal for you to connect with your daughter, and it's natural to be excited about it. Maybe try having a calm conversation with your Sil and explain why this is so important to you. Apologize for the name-calling, but stand firm on the fact that your daughter is a big part of your life now. Communication is key, right? So for context, all of this happened about a month ago, on the 4th of July. Me and my husband, F27 and M29, threw a party and all of our family and friends came over. Of them was my sister, F30 and her son, M13. There was about 40 people there including a few children, and my 1-year-old son. So we had fireworks obviously for the 4th and I am already not the biggest fan of them. My nephew was very excited to light a few off but his mom and dad both told him no. He kept messing with them even when it was still light out. So at like 6 p.m. everyone says we can start lighting them. I said okay and I walked in our backyard because my son was playing in his backyard area with some of his cousins. I was gonna get the kids inside. As I am walking, I was hit with a firework. It primarily hit my shoulder/chest area. At first it did not hurt because I was just so confused what happened. But as soon as my husband grabbed me yelling, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" It was excruciating. I'm fine now, but I ended up getting so many medications, a surgery, and another 6 months of doctor appointments. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. It was my nephew who had accidentally hit me, the 13-year-old. He was messing around with his dad's lighter and didn't realize it was a bottle rocket, which was going to fly. Edit: I have since been corrected by my husband. It wasn't a bottle rocket, it was a Roman candle firework, when my husband told me that I was absolutely fucking pissed. I had told my sister a million times to be careful and make him be careful, and she didn't watch him or stop him. I was literally walking to get my baby. What would have happened if I was walking back with him on my hip? Of course I got an apology right away from my sister. I didn't take it. A few weeks after surgery, I finally received an apology from my nephew. It was half-assed and obvious his parents made him. I told my sister that as of now, I do not accept her apology or her son's. I am so ducking angry and terrified. What would have happened if I had my son in my arms? My husband agrees, he's more mad than I am. My sister called me and was crying. She was like, I am so sorry and all that. I did feel a little bad and I was like, listen, you're my sister, you're always gonna be my sister, I love you, but right now I cannot speak with you. I need space. She called me a witch. Comment 1. NTA, and can I just point out that if your sister is calling you a bitch for needing space, then she isn't actually sorry at all? Apologies should be given with honesty and true remorse, and with the understanding that forgiveness is not compulsory. They are failing to understand the real pain and trauma they caused you, and how it could have potentially been so much worse. Your nephew's complete disregard for you, his parents, and common sense in general, would make me want to go North Carolina with all of them, but at the very least, it would mean no more invitations where he is included. He cannot be trusted. Comment 2. I have a cousin that got burned in the face during the 4th of July years ago. The same thing happened to her as you. One of the kids threw a firework and hit her face. Your sister needs to learn how to be a responsible parent. Next time someone might not be as lucky and will sue her for everything she has. An apology won't cut it. I say go LC with her till you heal mentally and physically. Comment 3. I don't understand how a Roman candle could cause that much damage. We used to have Roman candle fights when we were young. A long time ago. I've been hit countless times with their projectiles. Must have been a perfect storm, so to speak. One difference is that we knew they were coming and could brace for it. Getting hit out of nowhere had to be horrible. I wish you fast and forever healing. I am 28F living indo with a well-paid job, currently supporting both myself and my BF, who lost his job. Recently, I was invited to a 2-day Spanish-Italian wedding as the bride's witness. The 2-day event was held 3 hours away from the city and included a wedding ceremony, lunch, party and next day a barbecue to celebrate the relative's birthday. We were told not to bring any gifts as the couple has planned second wedding in Italy for 80+ people and rented out a mansion. The groom's family is very rich. As a witness and best friend, I always went above and beyond by helping her in everyday life. For the wedding I rented a car for plus €250. I was picking up guests and helping a lot with logistics, bringing PPF from and to the airport. However, things took a weird turn when I arrived to the barbecue and was told that there is not enough food for us and we have to go shopping. Fine, it happens, we made a list of groceries for ourselves. While we shopped, I got calls from the hosts to buy more food. My BF was even asked to get fresh bread. At the barbecue, I was asked to help with cooking, which I ended up doing for 1 hour. The food which we bought was distributed around all tables, meaning that we kinda sponsored the barbecue which we were invited to. The stupidest moment was that when my BF asked for bread, he wasn't allowed to take the fresh bread he bought. Fiancé's relative was not doing much, he was suffering from hangover from previous night. Others were hanging around and enjoying the setup. I had a nasty feeling, though I was happy that I could help. Afterwards, the couple went on a honeymoon and asked me to take care of their plants for 1 month, which is totally fine with me. I prepared them a nice bottle of champagne to celebrate their return from the honeymoon. As I spent a lot of money on food, I wanted to get some reimbursement. It's not like I bought food for only my BF, my friend and me, but for all others who could have gone shopping as well. I added the expenses to splitwise and assigned 2/5 to the bride. Despite my efforts and expenses, I was harshly criticized for being a terrible friend, for not bringing a present, not washing dishes, or contributing enough financially. I was told that I should be thankful that their friends allowed us to stay overnight. We got them a bottle of expensive wine as a thank you. Then her fiancé accused me of trying to get their money and suggested I check my finances. The groom even implied that I didn't do enough for the wedding. However, I had already followed their words not to bring a gift and had been supportive in various ways. I was at work and all of this destroyed me emotionally. In conclusion, I felt unappreciated and hurt by the accusations and misunderstandings from my friend and the couple. I had genuinely tried to help and contribute, but it seemed like my efforts were not recognized or valued. Comment 1. Given the situation, I'd say you're NTA. You went above and beyond to help out, covering unexpected expenses and assisting with logistics, all while following their request not to bring a gift. Your request for reimbursement for food, which benefited everyone at the event, seems fair, especially considering you were effectively helping to host. The reaction from your friend and the groom was disproportionate and hurtful, showing a lack of appreciation for your efforts. Comment 2. Some people who are very rich stay that way because they take advantage of other people, like making them buy food for a whole group. Do you really want these people in your life for them to continue to take advantage of you? It will now always be at the back of your mind. NTA.